Hey guys, about 7 years ago, 6 years ago or so, I did a video, and I remember I did this video the day or the night of these two athletes, these two high school kids, walk up to me while I was outside of the underground strength gym, and one of them I had trained, I think it was about a year and a half or 2 years prior. He was about 130 pounds at the time. When he walked up to me, he was somewhere in that, like, from what I recall, 220, 225. He was huge. He was juiced up. And I remember I was pissed off because he was such a little kid, and I was just mad that he didn't give himself the opportunity to achieve potential before going to do the drugs. Somebody wants to do steroids or any of their drugs, that's their prerogative. But I like seeing people reaching their potential, doing their own work. And he was coming up to me to talk about training, seeing all our athletes outside, farmer walking, dragging sleds, carrying anvils, and he was telling me that he's thinking of wrestling his senior year. And I said, "Oh, how did you do last year?" And his record, he had a losing record. And I remember it fired me up to see this kid who was, taking shortcuts to achieve results when he needed to be doing his own work. And of course, in my earlier years, I was more of an extremist, totally going away from a lot of the bodybuilding work, even though my background was in bodybuilding. And when I did bodybuild, it was more power bodybuilding. But I titled the blog post something to the effect of Pretty Boy Bodybuilding versus Real World Strength. And of course, there's no such thing as real world strength. It's just a term that we coin, that when you train in a certain way, what I like to describe as this blending science with hell, when you're building mental toughness, you're developing a very unique kind of strength by going outside of machines and cables and things like that. Although those exercises, some of those machines and cable exercises do have their place, and I'm going to tell you, the training of athletes for me has changed very much so, not just since that video, but even in the past 4 or 5 years. Athletes showing up at my gym are weaker than ever before, so much more deconditioned than ever before, that they can't even do a bodyweight squat without going halfway down and hunching over looking like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Some of these kids literally need to go into a bodybuilding gym and do things like Smith machine bench press, 5 sets of 5 to 10 reps, 100 reps of leg extensions and leg curls every other day, putting them on a leg press machine, doing machine work because they can barely maneuver their body on their own 2 feet. They cannot even do one push-up. So what I need them to do is just do a whole shit ton of machines, take the stability factor out of it, put some muscle on the body, and even with that stuff, I'll still incorporate things like kettlebell and dumbbell farmer walks. They're going to be too weak to do the things I used to do with many of our athletes, which was just going into an empty parking lot and pushing my SUV around. We'll do plenty of sled drags, back extensions. These athletes are going to have to do high rep work to put the muscle on, 5 sets of 10 on curls, 5 sets of 15, 20, 25 reps on tricep pushdowns. Anyway, what I'm saying is I retract some of the stuff that I said, because anybody who's smart, their mind will change. But pretty boy bodybuilding, doing all the machines, the cables and all that shit, that's actually a lot of the way I trained when I was in high school. And that's all we knew. Yes, I would do squatting, benching, but I did a ton of machines. All the guys around me were telling me, feel the muscle, squeeze the muscle. So my shoulder workouts were a lot more of Smith machine presses, one arm side cable raises, stuff like that, when it should have been barbell clean and press, dumbbell clean and press, standing dumbbell shoulder presses. I should have done a lot more barbell, free weight, power bodybuilding work. And I showed video footage that inspired me to say a lot of these things. I was watching old school Dr. Ken videos. I'm going to show you some of that footage. And this footage was actually gifted to me in the first few months of opening my gym. A gentleman was waiting outside my gym, kind of hovering around, and I went outside and asked him if I could help him. and his name was John Schulthis. And from what I understand, he didn't tell me this, but messages travel in the iron game, and he was quite the gridiron gladiator. And I believe he played football at Temple, and had an opportunity to try out, or is maybe being recruited to go play for the Philadelphia Eagles, but went on to become a church pastor. And he gifted me these videos, and you could see these guys getting after it. About this training is what I used to call real world strength. Some people called it functional strength. Really what it's doing is you're getting strong, you're getting mentally tough, you're preparing yourself for the battle of sport. Because combative sports like football, wrestling, rugby, even lacrosse, these sports are unpredictable, and you cannot prepare yourself, not just physically, but so crucial is the mental aspect if you're just in a gym training perfectly on all these machines. There's a time and place for all of it, but these younger kids nowadays are showing up weaker and weaker than ever before. Note the technique in some of these things are not perfect, and sometimes when everything's too perfect, you're not preparing yourself for the battle at the highest levels. And with all my experience training so many athletes, literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of athletes, my mind is changing and evolving, and my training methods evolve daily. And they even evolve for each different group that trains with me. Let's check out some of this video footage. I'll skip around a little bit. Sprinting with a weight vest. Okay, guys, gave you a little glimpse into the video, the DVD. It was actually VHS tape that was given to me that was firing me up big time. So, hope you guys kind of understand my piece or my role in this is that even all training methods have their time and place. But when you're training for sport, maybe you're going to need some of those pretty boy bodybuilding exercises to do some specific muscular endurance work, to add some muscle, and to even rehab certain injuries or strengthen some tendons and ligaments. So doing exercises like dumbbell side raises, front raises, rear delt exercises, even high rep cable curls and tricep pushdowns, they strengthen connective tissues. That can help reduce chances of injury for athletes that tend to get kind of beat up in the hands, the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders. I did a lot of that stuff with our wrestlers, but I did it in circuit fashion to also build not just the muscle building and the muscular endurance and the tendon strength, but also mental toughness and pain tolerance. So they would do things like 10 side raises, 10 front raises, 10 rear delts, max out on the band pushdowns, and then maybe from there make them do a farmer walk. So I would do these circuits, so I would blend the thing that they needed and then add in that functional, quote-unquote, real-world strength, whatever you want to call it, to build upon it, to make it, to help them build more mental toughness. Now, the other thing I want to really share is I'm always learning. So if you're a lifter or a strength coach watching this, don't just try to learn from the information of today. That tape, I'm not sure when it's from, but it's a Virginia Tech. I mean, I'm sure you could see by them pushing that station wagon, that looks like sometime around the early 80s. This video is being filmed in the year 2015. That's probably 30 years old. Dr. Ken, was doing these things, lifting kegs and whatnot when he was going out and training out in California. Unfortunately, he's done writing for Iron Man magazine, but when he finished his last article, he said, "What else can I really say? It's really about the basics and hard work," and I think I've said that enough times, and I truly love that. So I want to say is that I've grown and evolved and even matured since about 7 years ago when I did that video, which came across probably a bit arrogant and pissed off some people, and I don't mind pissing off people, but I was pissed off, again, to see such a young athlete not push himself naturally before going into the use of drugs. You want to do it when you've tapped out your potential, and I mean, I don't really know if we ever do reach our potential, but when you're a junior or senior in high school, your body is testosterone city. You don't need the aid of those drugs, so you got to do it on your own. And I also believe there's a big aspect of mental toughness when you know you've done the work yourself and you've earned the results. Hope you guys enjoyed this kind of part two some 6-7 years later, where I kind of did the follow-up and retract some of the statements I made and own my mistakes. Live the code 365. Go to undergroundstrength.tv. And, of course, undergroundstrengthcoach.com is the inner circle since 2005. And get to a certification, undergroundstrength.org. Click the links below. You guys can reach out to me on social, and I would love to connect. Thanks for your support. Peace, guys.